Are you fully aware of what is in the food that you consume? Not many people take the time to look at the food labels of the products they buy because they believe it is already safe to consume. Companies that produce and package genetically modified foods hide the fact that they're not using natural foods by not including the use of them on their labels. In 60 countries, it is required that they label the use of genetically modified organisms on the package labels. But in the United States, it is not required. With this being said, genetically modified foods are not safe. Do not consume genetically modified foods for 3 reasons. First, genetically modified foods cause health issues. Second, genetically modified foods contain more repellents. And third, genetically modified foods lack certain nutrients. Health problems can arise for many reasons, and one of these can be included in our diets. Since we are able to control what we eat, we are able to reduce our risk of health issues. My first point is that genetically modified foods cause health issues. Jeff Dempsey, certified by Carrington College, stated that in 2011, blood tests of 69 Quebec women, 30 of them who were pregnant, showed that there were pesticides in their bodies and in the bodies of their fetuses. Pesticides can affect our nerves, muscles, and cause us sickness. In animals, it has caused immune dysregulation, changes in the liver, kidney, and pancreas function, and also in the spleen. The Weston A. Price Foundation, or the WAPF, is dedicated to restoring nutrient-dense foods back into our everyday diets. Jeffrey Smith, of this group, stated that Monsanto's BT corn produces a foreign protein that is not produced in natural corn. This has been linked to Parkinson's disease. Another study in 2008 in India said that workers exposed to BT cotton had symptoms of rashes and flu and were sometimes rushed to the ER because of these symptoms. To review my first point, genetically modified foods cause health issues. It is important that we take our health and well-being very seriously. Consuming these genetically modified foods affects our health, and they should be avoided at all costs. The purpose of crop repellents is to keep away unwanted pests and plants. With the use of genetically modified foods, it was suspected that by using these, we would be using less repellents, but in reality, it is actually the opposite. My second point is that genetically modified foods contain more repellents. Jeff Dempsey said in 2013 that the use of herbicides has increased in the last 9 years because of how fast these crops grow. Jeffrey Smith of the WAPF Foundation stated that in 2013, over a 16-year time span, 527 million pounds of herbicides that is the amount of herbicides that have used, or the increase has been used in 16 years. This results in higher amounts of toxic residue on crops. A Washington State professor said that since these crops were introduced in 1996, there's been a 404 million pound increase in pesticide use between then and 2011. This causes our crops to become even more unnatural than they already are. This also results in a greater chance of ingesting pesticides. My second point proves that genetically modified foods contain more repellents. With the info stating the drastic increases of these repellents, it is clear that they are not safe to consume. They make the crops more unnatural, and we have a greater risk of ingesting these unhealthy pesticides and herbicides into our body. Nutrients are an important factor to our intake. Natural foods contain many of the minerals and vitamins that we need for our bodies, but the same cannot be said about these genetically modified foods. My third point is that genetically modified foods contain less nutrients. In 2014, Richard Fluke wrote a book about why we should not consume genetically modified foods. These foods are not equivalent to the natural foods. Golden rice was modified to produce more vitamin A, but with the results of this, it is shown that there's more vitamin A in the natural golden rice than there is in the genetically modified rice. Why should we eat genetically modified foods with less vitamins and minerals when we can just eat natural foods that have all the correct and even more vitamins and minerals that we need for our bodies? Jeffrey Smith of the WAPF stated that genes that were injected into corn produce an unfamiliar protein. This protein is not recognized by our bodies. It is actually an insecticide, which is used to kill plants. That's why our body doesn't recognize it, because it is not supposed to be consumed by us. This insecticide is designed to kill insects from destroying the crop. Humans react negatively to this insecticide. In mice, it has damaged the small intestine, and in humans, it has resulted in allergy and flu-like symptoms. My third point proves that genetically modified foods lack certain nutrients. It is important to consume healthy foods that contain all the nutrients we need, rather than consuming foods that don't contain nearly enough of the nutrients we need. It is wrong. Ingesting these wrong kinds of nutrients is not healthy, and this is why genetically modified foods are not safe. Genetically modified foods are a threat to humans and animals, and we should do whatever we can to avoid them at all costs. In conclusion, these food labels are provided on our products that we buy so we know what we are putting into our bodies and what is the healthiest options. These companies that are in charge of these genetically modified foods don't have to include that they are actually using these foods in their products because it is not required in the United States. This is definitely a reason why we should avoid them at all costs. We need to let nature do its job in producing these all-natural foods instead of injecting genes to speed up a growing process just so we have more of a certain crop. It is important that we care about our health and well-being, and to achieve this, we need to eat natural foods to keep our bodies healthy. So, do not consume genetically modified foods for 3 reasons. First, genetically modified foods cause health issues. Second, genetically modified foods contain more repellents. And third, genetically modified foods lack nutrients.